Now on Denver 7 News, major flooding in Larimer County leads to the death of a woman and a child. We have the latest on the damages and recovery efforts.
I think the whole community is standing up and saying, well, of course, this is what we need.
Plus, Marshall Fire victims are beginning to build new homes, but many say they're overwhelmed with unexpected taxes. Now they're calling on local leaders to take action.
People just needing money to do their daily commute. You know, pay small bills, get gas, put groceries on the table.
And historic inflation is forcing Coloradans to make tough decisions, while many are turning to this industry, hoping to make a quick buck. Good evening and thanks for joining us for Denver 7 News at 5. I'm Bayan Wang. Tonight, Larimer County is cleaning up after major flooding swept through the county yesterday. We're also learning more about the two people who died during those floods. The sheriff's office says a woman and a child were swept away while camping in the Buckhorn Creek area yesterday afternoon. And within the last hour, the sheriff's office giving an update on the recovery efforts. Denver 7's Rob Harris is in Larimer County with the latest.
Cleanup and damage assessment are happening right now in Larimer County. We have seen rain come through this afternoon, but thankfully it hasn't been anything as intense as we saw yesterday. But I do want to show you this aerial footage from our chopper showing that flooding damage here in Larimer County. The sheriff blames this on a combination of monsoonal precipitation washing over the Cameron Peak burn scar. And this is a reminder of how devastating flash flooding can be when it occurs over these intense burn scars. Now the pictures you're seeing on your screen right now, that's not a river, that is a road. Crews are working right now on road repairs. This is County Road 44H. It's open only for emergency access at this time. And the National Forest Service has also closed a portion of Roosevelt National Forest to evaluate the safety in that burn area. County officials tell us we won't have a cost estimate on the damages until tomorrow most likely, but they do not expect it to reach the level where federal aid will be coming in. In Larimer County, I'm Rob Harris, Denver 7.
It's really just unbelievable, Rob. Thank you so much. All right, let's get right to meteorologist Stacey Donaldson. Stacey, we had some flood watches and warnings that just expired not too long ago, but we're also getting some rain here in the Denver metro.
We had some good soakers roll through the metro area and up in Boulder, too. I'm glad they had tents out because a lot of people had to take cover when the rain was moving through. Now the sun is back out at the Pearl Street Mall and much improved weather here in the last 45 minutes or so. As for the high country, we've had off and on showers, but like Rob said, not as intense as what we had yesterday. We had flash flood watches and warnings in effect most of the day. Now we're seeing just some isolated storms moving on through, and they're pushing through quickly and not just sitting right over one area. Now about, as I mentioned, 45 minutes ago, we had a good strong line of storms push through the area. They're now off to the east, just south of Byers. We have a lot of lightning from Deer Trail out toward Kit Carson and just north of Pueblo. So we're watching that area carefully. Also rain into southwestern Colorado, but we'll have clearing skies as we go through the rest of tonight. Temperatures in the mid 60s, so we're looking good if you have outdoor plans tonight, maybe a concert or just some dinner on the patio. It looks like the weather is going to cooperate. Now the hot weather is about to settle right back in. I'll let you know how hot it's going to get for the rest of the weekend coming up.
Stacey, a concert or some dinner sounds good right now. We'll hear more from you soon. All right, it's been more than 6 months since the Marshall Fire tore through Boulder County. Many of the victims who lost everything are now finally starting to rebuild, and Superior officials waived the new construction tax to help cut costs. And now Louisville residents are asking for the same. Denver 7's Russell Haythorne explains.
We are part of the fabric of this town.
The emotion here is still raw. How are you?
We're doing okay. It helps to be fighting for something.
The pain still fresh. How are you?
How am I? Oh, well, this is not the way I expected my 50s to start. I turned 50 yesterday.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I think like a lot of other survivors, we're just experiencing fatigue and exhaustion.
And the message from all those who lost their homes in the Marshall Fire, like Trevor and Tanya, is a simple one, directed at elected officials.
We have some council with a bit of an empathy gap.
Step up and do what's right.
Rebate our use taxes.
I think the whole community is standing up and saying, well, of course, this is what we need.
For many of these homeowners, as you can see, the debris is now gone and they're ready to move forward with permitting. The hang-up is with the use tax at the permitting process. If they can get that waived, they're ready for construction. The use tax is about 3.6% on new construction, which is an average of about $25,000 for every new home. But fire victims never planned on building new homes, so they're asking the city to waive those fees, especially considering many have other financial hardships like underinsurance.
Costs are going up, 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 up.
It can be done. It just takes the will and it takes the work.
He's right. Louisville's neighbor to the south already did it months ago.
Within the town of Superior, we acted really quickly, and we decided that we wanted to waive the use taxes and cut the permit fees because we knew it was the right thing to do.
Town of Superior trustee Neil Shaw was a trailblazer in the movement and believes Louisville has dragged its feet. And Boulder County hasn't taken any action on waiving the county use tax, which also amounts to thousands per fire victim.
Quite the opposite. They've been working in the background to prevent having public conversations about refunding that use tax.
These survivors say they will fight to the bitter end.
Either council can do something and pass an ordinance to rebate them, or we can go to the voters ourselves directly.
In Louisville, Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
All right, Russell, thank you. Police in Denver and Littleton are investigating 4 shootings overnight that left 2 people dead and 2 others wounded. The first happened just after midnight at an apartment complex near Zinnia Street and 13th Avenue. A woman was shot and killed there, and police are still working to find a suspect. The second shooting occurred around 2:30 near East Colfax and Ogden Street. A man was shot there, and his condition is unknown. The third shooting happened at 315 near Broadway and 8th. 1 person was shot and no arrests have been made. And the fourth shooting happened around 3:20 at an apartment complex in Littleton off West Riverwalk Circle. A man was shot and killed there. For this specific shooting, police are searching for a white sedan and white Honda CRV. The eastbound lanes of I-70 are closed this weekend in Denver between Washington Street and 270. That's because we're nearing the end of the Central 70 project, which has been 4 years in the making. Crews will spend the weekend realigning lanes. That means eastbound traffic will use the new tunnel starting on Monday. Then CDOT will focus on getting the westbound lanes in place.
We've been in a temporary scenario for those westbound lanes. We need to undo that temporary scenario, do some rework, and then ultimately put westbound into their final laneage come mid-September timeframe.
All right, bear with me here, try to follow along, but there is a detour in place to get around the closure that will take drivers up I-25 to I-76, then to I-270, and then back onto I-70. The final piece of the puzzle is the park above those Central 70 tunnels. CDOT says it should be ready by the middle of November. Coloradans are still struggling to buy basic goods because of inflation. We're all impacted by it, and many are heading to pawn shops to try and make ends meet. Denver 7's Veronica Costa spoke with a local store owner who says he's seeing more new customers now than ever before.
This is normal at Pawn King in Englewood. Customers heading right for the door as soon as it opens. TVs and speakers are in no short supply here. Neither are tools, laptops, even heavy-duty equipment. Angela Arguello, the owner of Pawn King, is in charge of all of this day in and day out, and has been for a long time.
I was kind of born and raised in it. You know, ran around my father's jewelry store when I was 6, 7 years old, and it just kind of progressed from there.
The only constant all these years is change.
You know, I've been in the business for so long, and I've rode the ups and downs a lot with the economy.
In February, Arguello says that happened again.
It's a lot more, hey, I need gas for the week type of loans. Hey, I just need a quick 30 bucks, 40 bucks to fill my tank. I gotta go to Castle Rock, I gotta go to Springs, something like that.
More customers coming in for a quick loan to help them get through the week.
People just needing money to do their daily commute. You know, pay small bills, get gas, put groceries on the table for the few days before they get their paycheck.
Bringing in items they no longer see as necessities.
Now they're giving up those bikes and laptops and gaming systems and the fun things you can kind of live without for about a week, 2 weeks.
Some weeks he loans out thousands of dollars, others less than that. But he says he does it for those in need.
I base a lot of my business on community, you know what I mean? And if I can help everybody out, I try to.
Helping them by getting the money for that tank of gas or carton of eggs. In Englewood, I'm Veronica Costa, Denver 7.
All right, here's the thing. Denver food banks say they're feeling the squeeze of inflation too, both in donations coming in and the number of families coming to them for help. The Food Bank of the Rockies says it's seen an increase in first-time families to its mobile pantries. Many have steady income, but it's not going as far with higher prices at the grocery store and at gas stations. The food bank says its operating costs are higher too.
So we're seeing increased need. Anecdotally, sometimes we're serving 50% more people. And then we're also being hit by our actual reduction in donated food coming to us from manufacturers and retailers and from the USDA. So we're buying more food than ever. And of course, just like you and I as consumers are paying more for food at the grocery store, Food Bank of the Rockies is paying more.
Wow. Food Bank of the Rockies says spending on food has tripled pre-pandemic levels. That's why donations are more appreciated than ever before. If you're in a position to help, we have a link on thedenverchannel.com. President Joe Biden is on his way back to America after a 4-day trip to the Middle East. It's his first trip to the region since taking office. Tonight, the president is facing criticism after greeting the Saudi crown prince with a fist bump. He did that directly before confronting the prince over the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. U.S. intelligence says that the crown prince approved the killing back in 2018.
For the United States president to remain silent on a clear violation of human rights is totally inconsistent with who we are, and what we would do, what we believe. And so I'm not going to remain silent.
President Biden says he will encourage leaders in the region to increase oil production, but he did not bring up the issue during this trip. All right, the House committee investigating January 6th has issued a subpoena to the Secret Service late last night. They're asking for text messages from January 5th and 6th that were reportedly deleted by agents. A letter by the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General accuses the Secret Service of erasing messages after he had formally requested the messages be preserved. The Secret Service denies that, saying there was a replacement program for all agency phones during that time.
We are obviously very concerned that texts from January 5 and January 6 have gone missing. If those texts are gone, we are determined to find them.
The January 6th Select Committee will hold its next hearing this Thursday at 6 p.m. The hearing will focus on what former President Trump was doing during the Capitol riot. The second round of COVID-19 vaccine boosters may be available to adults soon. The FDA and CDC are considering widening the eligibility for the extra shot. This comes as the highly contagious BA.5 variant runs rampant through the country. Nationwide, more than 124,000 new cases are being reported every single day. That's up nearly 16% in the last week. Experts say if you got the first booster shot, you're likely protected from serious symptoms that comes with the BA.5 variant.
The good news is that vaccinated and boosted people, particularly those who receive the full component of the boosting, are generally pretty well protected against severe disease.
Very, very clear in my mind that your risk of ending up in the ICU is dramatically higher if you have not gotten a booster, if you've not gotten that third shot.
Infection rates could actually be much higher. Many states shut down public testing sites and more people are testing at home and not reporting positive results. A new universal suicide crisis hotline is now available across the country. The phone number is 988 and you can call or text to talk with a trained mental health counselor. Those counselors will be available 24/7. The service is switching to the new 3-digit number because it's easier to remember. The old number, 1-800-273-TALK, will also stay in place. Coming up, a big festival with some really small buildings. We're taking you inside Loveland's famous Tiny House Festival. Plus, a fun summer evening without spending a dime, which Denver venue is hosting a series of free concerts this weekend.